let's enter the Pretty Green Vinyl Guys 1000 subscriber contest. Ahoy hoy everybody, and welcome to my entry for Edwin's competition. Edwin is the Pretty Green Vinyl Guy, great YouTube channel that I enjoy a lot. Also follow him on Instagram, and we've had the occasional correspondence on there. Really nice guy, happy to support him. He's reached 1,000 subscribers, well done Edwin, thoroughly deserved. And he's run a little competition. What he's done is sort of 10 questions, they're all talk about a song type questions. When I was sort of prepping for this, I was going through them all and I think, well, I could do a Prince song for this, I could do a Prince song for this, I could do a Prince song for this. So I'm actually going to do these questions twice. First of all, I'm going to do them sans Prince, and then I'm going to do a Prince only version. So if that doesn't interest you, you can skip the second one. So yeah, really, really good. I had to put some thought into some of them. So here we go. First one was, show a song that makes you cry. So the only real song that every time makes me cry is a Prince song, which I will talk about in the second part. But the only other one I could sort of think of was Tell Me It's Not So from the musical Blood Brothers, as performed by Melanie C on her Stages album. I went to see Blood Brothers in the West End when Melanie C was starring in it, purely because Melanie C was starring in it. Big fan of hers, so really wanted to see her. Fortunate enough to meet her at the stage door afterwards as well, which was great. Prior to that, I had no real interest in the musical Blood Brothers. What I'd read of it didn't appeal at all. Mum had gone to see it, loved it, but still showed no interest. It was purely the Melanie C factor that made me want to see it. However, before I went to see it, Mum said, "You're going to cry at the end." I said, "No, I won't." She said, "You will." So I went, front row seats, slap bang in the middle, great seats. Show opened, and the very first scene of the show is the ending, and then the rest of it's told in flashback. So I thought, well, I know how this ends, I'm not going to cry. So at the end of the show, they sang Tell Me It's Not So, and I bawled my eyes out, basically. So a song that makes me cry, Tell Me It's Not True. Let me get the title right, that would help. Tell Me It's Not True, from Blood Brothers, performed by Melanie C. Question 2. Show a song with a place in the title. Quite a few options for this, purely because it gives me an excuse to show off this nice picture disc. I have gone for Vegas by Sleeper. Sleeper, one of my favourite bands. Vegas, big song of theirs, song I love. And a very nice roulette picture disc. So that's that one. That didn't go back in properly, never mind. Song number 3, it's a song with a colour in the title. I actually struggled with this more than I thought I would. Trying to think of one that wasn't Prince. Prince has got quite a few. And then it suddenly dawned on me, so I've gone for Mr. Brownstone by Guns N' Roses from Appetite for Destruction. First side of this album is flawless. Second half is pretty great. And Mr. Brownstone, song about heroin addiction. Great track. Question 4, this was a good one. A song that you'd like to see made into a movie. What I'd actually like to see made into a movie is the Divine Comedy's album, Promenade, which I meant to grab to show, but I forgot. Because that tells a story over the whole album. However, sticking with my favourite band, I'm going to go for Our Mutual Friend from the Absent Friends album. Spoiler alert. So the story of Our Mutual Friend is that our protagonist is introduced by a mutual friend to a girl. They all go out clubbing, have a great evening. Our protagonist and the girl really hit it off. They spend a nice evening whilst the mutual friend goes to bed, listening to records, singing, getting drunk. They both collapse drunk. When he wakes up in the morning, she's in bed with the mutual friend. So I think that would make a nice sort of rom-com with a twist at the end type plot. Probably might be able to drag it out to 90 minutes, but it certainly would make a nice short film. There's quite a few Divine Comedy songs I'd like to make a short film of if I had the time, the patience and the resources. But yes, so a song I'd like to see a film made of is Our Mutual Friend by the Divine Comedy. A song you would play to a friend who's never heard your favourite act. Obviously Prince is my favourite act, so I'm going to cover him in my second run through. So I thought I'd try another one of my favourites. Again, spoilt for choice, it's got quite a few favourites. But I thought I'd go for Kate Nash, who is one of, if not my favourite female artist. This is her album Yesterday Was Forever, signed by Kate. And I'm going to go for the track My Little Alien, which is a song dedicated to her dog. Although probably the most user-friendly tracks by Kate are on her first album, Made of Bricks, which was the big hit album, won her a Brit Award, got her #2 single, etc. It's a great album, there's some great tracks on it. It's quite atypical of the rest of her career. As she's gone on, she's got punkier and punkier, and this is her to-date latest album, and is a much more telling of her sound. I mean, she's not just punky, you know, she covers lots of genres, which is what I like about her. And as I say, My Little Alien, it's a sort of a ballad to her dog, but very quirky, lots of fun. Really love the track. Yeah, so that's the song I would play. Number 6 was quite a simple one. A song with a boy or girl in the title. Again, quite a few I could choose from, but I have decided to go for Sweet Jean Vincent from Ian Dury's New Boots and Panties. It's probably the song that got me into Ian Dury. I've talked about this before, but quickly, after he died, there was a tribute album to him, and Robbie Williams did Sweet Jean Vincent on it, and I absolutely adored it, and that made me want to get Ian Dury's albums. A song I'd love to hear live. Again, there's quite a few acts that I'm a big fan of, Blur, Pulp, to name but two, who I've never had the opportunity to see live, and that's ignoring people like the Beatles and Queen, who, you know, no longer tour for obvious reasons. Well, I mean, Queen tour, but anyway. But what song I thought I'd really, really love to witness live is Yes by McCalmont and Butler, which I think is possibly the greatest song ever written. It is certainly in the top 10, and I would love to see it performed live with a full orchestra. It would just be amazing. So yes. Number 8 is the first song you remember dancing to. So this, I can't remember exactly, but certainly my first musical love was Shaky. It could have been This Old House, but I got a feeling it was probably Green Door. I think I sort of went back to This Old House rather than really loving him from This Old House. This was certainly the first Shaky album I owned. And Green Door is track 6 on side 1. So yeah, it's probably Green Door by Shaky. Question 9, I haven't got anything to show you. I do have this on CD, but it's as you'll find out, it's a comedy track. And most of my comedy CDs are stored away, just for space purposes. So number 9 is a song you want played at your funeral, and I've gone for Peter Cook and Dudley Moore and Goodbye. I just, you know, it's me. I need comedy at my funeral. I don't want it to be a serious, sad matter, and that seems the most appropriate song to play. And then number 10, your favourite song from a concert experience. Again, you know, I've seen Prince a dozen times, Robbie Williams more than that. I was lucky enough to see Bowie. You know, I've seen lots of my favourite acts, Divine Comedy loads of times, Duke Special loads of times. I've seen lots of my favourite acts. But one that really is probably my favourite concert I've ever been to, purely because it was something I never thought would happen, was when I saw Monty Python live at the O2. And so for that, I will go for the sing-along song. This is obviously Monty Python live at Drury Lane from much earlier, but it has to be the Bruce's Philosopher's Song, which is a song I've memorised over the years and comes in very handy when I'm doing crosswords to remember various philosophers' names. But yes, so that was a concert highlight for me. So the Bruce's Philosopher's Song is a song that forms a concert memory. So that's my first run through of the 10 questions. So then this is the Prince run through. So the song that makes me cry, and it really does, is Sometimes It Snows in April from Parade. It always has done from when I first heard it, or from when I first saw Under the Cherry Moon, because, spoiler alert, it's the song that's played when Prince's character dies, so I always found it sad anyway. It's obviously taken on even more meaning since Prince died in April 2016. So yes, it's a song that I struggle to listen to because it makes me cry. The song with a place in my name, I'm going to go for All the Critics Love You in New York from 1999. Great track. Often when he performed it live, he would change New York to whichever city he was in at the time. But yes, that would be All the Critics Love You in New York. The colour, sport for choice of Prince, obviously, this is the obvious: Raspberry Beret, Purple Rain, Peach, Cream. But I've gone for Black Sweat, again primarily because it gives me a chance to show off the picture disc. So this was from the 3121 album. Great funk track. So the song that he'd like to see made into a movie, that was a bit harder with Prince. He doesn't do many story songs. But I've gone for Starfish and Coffee from Sign of the Times. It's a story of an autistic girl, Cynthia Rose, who's actually a real person who's Susanna Melvoin and Wendy Melvoin went to school with. Wendy and Lisa from Revolution. Susanna was Prince's fiancée and twin sister of Wendy, and was in the family, who first did Nothing Compares to You. And Susanna told Prince about this girl who, when they asked her what she had in her lunchbox, she'd say, starfish and pee-pee. So he changed that to Starfish and Coffee because it was a bit more user-friendly, and made this great song about this quirky girl, and I think her story would make a nice film. So that would be Starfish and Coffee. It's a song I would like to see make it into a movie. At number 5, so it's a Prince song I would play to a friend who hadn't heard Prince. I find it practically impossible that anybody would never have heard of Prince, but let's run with it. The truthful answer is it would depend on the friend and what sort of music they're into. Prince covers lots of genres, and, you know, if they were a rock fan, I'd play something like Bambi. If they were a funk fan, I'd play Housequake. If they were a rap fan, I'd play... I was going to say Dead On It, but that's not a good example, but one of his rap, Face Down. If they just were a pop fan, maybe something like Cream. You know, there's lots of different things you could cover. He's done country, he's done jazz, he's done reggae, you know. But a good, sort of, the obvious intro track to Prince is Purple Rain. It is the track he's most known for, a track that I think most people love. However, I'm going to go slightly off of that, and my favourite Prince, or joint favourite Prince track, and that's Gold. This is the CD single for it, from a Gold Experience. It's got the anthemic qualities of Purple Rain, but I think it's a bit more representative of his overall sound. Personally, Purple Rain is very much a down-the-line rock track, and that's slightly funkier. Only slightly, but slightly funkier. So anyway, plus it's my favourite anyway. So that's the song that I would play to a friend. Song with a boy or girl in the title, I've gone for Darling Nikki from Purple Rain, the song that led to the parental advisory stickers due to the masturbating with a magazine line. But yes, Darling Nikki from Purple Rain. Song I'd love to hear live. Obviously at this point I'd love to hear any Prince song live because it would mean he wasn't dead. But the track that I never heard him perform live, that I would really love, is another one of my favourite Prince tracks, and that's from 3121, and that's The Dance. Very underrated song in my opinion. Beautiful ballad. Nice waltz time. Really great track. Lovely strings on it. I'd love to hear that done live. First song, remember Dancing To, so purely on a Prince track. I don't remember, although I would listen to the albums religiously that I owned to this point. I don't remember dancing to any Prince tracks until the first time I saw him live. I could well have done, but I'm going to say the first time I danced to any Prince tracks was the first time I saw him live on the 20th of June 1992 at Earls Court on the Diamonds and Pearls tour. So the first song I would have danced to would have been the start of that concert, which would have been Thunder, which is also the opening track to Diamonds and Pearls, the album. Song I would have played at my funeral, it would have to be Let's Go Crazy with the Dearly Beloved intro, and it's also the first Prince track that I properly heard that made me fall in love with Prince, so that would be appropriate as well. And finally, concert memory, and again we're going back to the first time I saw Prince in concert, and it was one of the few nights on that tour that he played my, at that time, favourite Prince song. It is now my joint favourite with Gold, and that's Bambi. A great metal track, basically heavy rock. All about converting a lesbian, so lyrically it's a bit dodgy, but it's a great track. And I was really stunned that he actually played it on the night that I went to see him at my first ever Prince concert. So yeah, that's a good concert memory, is seeing him play Bambi. So that's it. That wasn't too bad, didn't take too long, good. That's my 2 run-throughs. I don't need 2 entries, Edwin, in case you're contemplating it. That's just 1 entry. Thank you for the competition. It's like some great ideas there, you know, in amongst the more simple ones like the colours and the places. The ones you had to think about, particularly the making into a movie. That was a good one, and the song you would play to introduce somebody to your favourite artist. Those were 2 really good questions. So yeah, thank you for doing the competition, Edwin. As I say, check him out. I'll leave a link to his channel down below in case you're not familiar with the Pretty Green Vinyl guy. Whilst I'm talking competitions, I'm coming up to halfway through the entry period for my competition. At the moment I've had about a dozen entries to the video part. I've only had 2 entries to the quiz part. So at the moment there's a very strong chance of winning that between the 2 entrants I've had. If I don't get any more, then you've got a 50-50 chance of winning. Even now, if you enter, you've got a good chance. Yeah, so if you're not familiar with the competition, just check back 3-4 videos to competition time. That will show you all about it. So there's the video entry part where you need to pop a video up on YouTube answering those questions, and then there's the quiz part where you just need to email the answers to me, and it's 2 separate prizes. So yeah, please take part, enjoy, hopefully. Thank you very much to everyone who's entered so far. In about a week's time or so, I'll just do a quick run through of all the entrants I've had, just in case I've missed anybody, so you can let me know. But yes, that's it. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Edwin. As I say, great channel. Check him out. Thank you for watching. Like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Thanks. Bye.